Horror has always promised audiences a brush with fear. From haunted houses to possessed dolls, the genre thrives on the thrill of the unknown. But sometimes the horrors on screen pale in comparison to the chilling events that happen behind the camera. Accidents, deaths, and unexplainable phenomena have given rise to the legend of cursed films, movies that seem to bring real-life terror to those who make them. For decades, Hollywood has tried to dismiss these stories as coincidences or exaggerations, but fans know better. The tragedies are too numerous, too eerie, and too consistent across productions to ignore. It's as if the very act of trying to summon evil for the big screen invited something dark to linger on set. Tonight, we'll explore some of the most infamous cursed horror movies in history. These are the films Hollywood would rather you forget, because the legends surrounding them are far scarier than the stories they told on screen. The Exorcist, 1973 is set touched by the devil, often called the scariest movie ever made. The Exorcist shocked audiences with its raw depiction of demonic possession. But the fear wasn't confined to the screen. The set of the McNeil family home caught fire under mysterious circumstances, burning down everything except the room where Reagan's exorcism scenes were filmed. The cause was never fully explained, and some crew members believed it was an omen. Actors and crew were injured throughout production. Ellen Burstyn, who played Reagan's mother, suffered a permanent spinal injury after being yanked violently by a harness during a stunt. Linda Blair, the young girl at the center of the possession, endured fractures to her spine and constant exhaustion. Even more disturbing were the deaths connected to the film. 9 people tied to the production died before the movie was released, including Jack McGoran, who played Burke Dennings, and a night watchman on set. Audiences who saw the film during its premiere reported fainting, vomiting, and in some cases, even claiming possession afterward. Churches issued warnings, and priests were called to theaters to bless screenings. The marketing thrived on the hysteria, but those who worked on the film whispered that the evil depicted in The Exorcist may have been more than just fiction. Poltergeist Trilogy, The Curse of the Spirits, released in 1982, Poltergeist told the story of a family haunted by restless spirits. But after the cameras stopped rolling, the film earned its reputation as one of Hollywood's most cursed franchises. The eerie legacy began with the tragic death of Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol, and the angelic little girl who uttered the chilling line, "They're here." At just 12 years old, Heather died suddenly from complications of an intestinal blockage just months before the release of Poltergeist 3. She wasn't the only cast member to meet a tragic fate. Dominique Dunne, who played the eldest daughter, Dana, was murdered by her abusive ex-boyfriend in 1982, just weeks after the first film's release. Julian Beck, who played the terrifying Reverend Kane in Poltergeist 2, died of stomach cancer shortly after filming. Will Sampson, also in the sequel, died after a risky heart-lung transplant. Adding fuel to the curse theory was the rumor that real skeletons were used in the filming of the infamous swimming pool scene. At the time, actual human skeletons were cheaper than plastic models, so the filmmakers opted for the real thing. Many fans believe this act of desecration angered spirits, dooming the cast and crew. Hollywood often downplays the curse of Poltergeist, dismissing the tragedies as coincidence. But the pattern of early deaths and eerie misfortunes remains too strong for fans to ignore. The Omen, 1976. Signs of the devil everywhere. When The Omen hit theaters in 1976, it told the story of Damien, a child who turned out to be the Antichrist. The film's dark subject matter seemed to attract darkness in real life. Before filming began, lead actor Gregory Peck's son tragically took his own life. As production continued, Peck's plane was struck by lightning while traveling to London. Screenwriter David Seltzer's plane was also struck by lightning in a separate incident. Producer Mace Neufeld narrowly avoided death when another flight he had planned to take was struck as well. The coincidences became too many to ignore. Then came the accidents. The hotel where key crew members were staying was bombed by the IRA. Special effects designer John Richardson, who created the film's infamous decapitation scene, was later involved in a car accident in which his passenger was decapitated, an echo of the scene he had designed. Animal handlers on set also suffered when trained baboons went out of control during filming. A stuntman was badly injured during one of the film's falls. By the time The Omen was released, many in Hollywood whispered that they had tempted fate by creating a film about the Antichrist. And judging by the string of lightning strikes, explosions, and violent deaths, some fans believe they may have been right. The Crow, 1994 death of Brandon Lee. Though not a traditional horror film, The Crow has long been tied to Hollywood's curse mythology. Adapted from a dark graphic novel, the film tells the story of a man resurrected from the dead to avenge his own murder. During filming, a prop gun was mishandled, and actor Brandon Lee, son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee, was fatally shot. He was just 28 years old. The tragedy shocked Hollywood, echoing the mysterious early death of his father, Bruce Lee. Fans immediately linked the two deaths as part of the Lee family curse. The Crow was completed using stand-ins and early CGI, but it was forever stained by Brandon's death. The film became a cult classic, but also a grim reminder of how art imitating death can sometimes cross a line. Twilight Zone, the movie, 1983, a real-life horror. In 1983, director John Landis began work on Twilight Zone, the movie, an anthology film inspired by the famous TV series. But during filming, a helicopter stunt went horribly wrong. Actor Vic Morrow and two child actors were killed when a helicopter crashed on set, decapitating Morrow and one of the children. The accident was filmed and later used in court as evidence. The tragedy sparked lawsuits, safety reforms, and an ongoing debate about negligence on set. Though the film was completed, its legacy was forever marked by the horrific deaths. The list doesn't end there. Other horror films have collected their own disturbing reputations. The Conjuring films, based on the paranormal cases of Ed and Lorraine Warren, were plagued with strange accidents. Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine, claimed claw-like marks appeared on her laptop during filming. Cast members reported hearing strange sounds on set. Annabelle, the spin-off, had crew members swear they saw fingerprints on windows and lights flickering without cause. Even Rosemary's Baby has been tied to curses. After the film's release, producer William Castle suffered kidney failure and claimed he was cursed. Director Roman Polanski's wife, actress Sharon Tate, was brutally murdered by the Manson family in one of the most infamous crimes of the 20th century. Skeptics argue that there's no such thing as a cursed film, that accidents and tragedies happen in every industry. But horror movies, with their focus on evil, demons, and death, seem to attract an especially chilling number of misfortunes. For the actors and crew who lived through these events, the line between fiction and reality blurred in terrifying ways. And for fans, the legacy of these films is shaped as much by their behind-the-scenes horror as by the scares on screen. Why does Hollywood avoid talking about these curses? Studios don't want audiences to associate their films with real-life tragedy. Tragedies disrupt the magic, expose negligence, and invite questions that executives would rather bury. But for audiences, the whispers and myths only make these films more compelling. Watching The Exorcist, Poltergeist, or The Omen becomes more than just watching a movie. It feels like peering into something cursed, something that shouldn't exist but does. And maybe that's why these stories endure. Because sometimes, the scariest horror isn't what happens on screen. It's what happens when the cameras stop rolling.